welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. This is a very, very hard kick off the start. We know Johan Norrin is more than capable of putting down a lot more than 7 watts per kilo, but this is about making it hard from the start. Have they seen somebody off the back that they want to leave behind?
Oh, I don't know. And it's a big group of riders able to stay together in this Category 2 race as they go up here. You can see 1 or 2 riders just starting to get distanced at the back.
Go to the left, attack, 9.5 watts per kilo. Steer across, try and break the draft, really hammer on down. We know Jones is going to go for a solo. However, you may not be able to do that because the group behind will respond and keep on coming back.
Interesting move for an attack at 26.8 kilometres. The Category 2 leaders, they are nearly at the top of the first part of the second ascent. Cat 1, 8, Cat 2, 5, Cat 4, 1, signifying the size of the groups. Cat 3, huge.
In Category 1 lead group that are mixed in with Category 2 riders, they're on the left of your screen. On the right hand side of your screen is your leader on the road overall. This is Adam Treshout. He went off early. He's got a gap on all the rest of the field. You can see the UCI banner. It's that white banner. It says Merry Christmas. It says Happy New Year. Well, the best present you can have is a win. It's a win for Adam Treshout. Hello and welcome to the very last Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh. It's December. It's the 31st. It is where we are currently still the New Year's Eve, and it's a Christmas Eve. You can tell we've been partying. I wish we had. We've been really busy all year, and it's been an absolute pleasure putting words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. I'm joined here in the studio by
Emma Martin, and Matt's not yet had his coffee out of a champagne glass, if you're wondering.
No, I definitely haven't, and that is a great idea. Coffee in a champagne glass. Other drinks are available, of course. We're going to be bringing you all the action here today. In fact, we brought you all the action in every single Sunday all the way through 2023 without a break, as well as an amazing MyWhoosh Championship. And it's been an absolute pleasure putting words to the action and working with the team behind the scenes who bring you the pictures. And we certainly weren't going to end the year without saying thank you to them. We are now going to head in to the very last race on the very last course. Where are we going, Emma?
We're going to Arabia. We are going to the Jebel Hafit, 45 kilometres of racing today for our men. And what a course to finish on. 1,041 metres of climbing. There's a number of segments along the way. 2 of those are climbs. 1 Category 4 climb coming at 16.4 kilometres. That's the aquarium climb. Then the Jebel Hafit, that's a Category 1 climb. 10 kilometres long, 7% average gradient, and the checkered flag is at the top. There are also 5 300-metre sprint segments along the way to give us an indication of what the racing is like. Well, if the women's race is anything to go by, the men are going to finish this year on a high.
Well, will it be on top of the Burj Khalifa, which has an amazing firework display for New Year, or will it be making the way to the top of the Jebel Hafit? Well, today, for the Sunday Race Club, the Jebel Hafit will see the summit of their ambitions. Our Category 4 riders are the first to set off in the very last race of the year. For the Bauhaus Sport Club, watch out for Ola Warren, could well be their hot shot at the top of the mountain. DS Team's Milano is on form for the Mighty Ducks. I'll be watching Robert Cronje, who's been climbing really well. Dario Finati can never be discounted out of the Spinergy team, and Team Time and Visma. Well, Cadabona, I think, is probably my pick from the Tiny Visma squad. The Anzac's so hard to choose, but David Nowak is really working well. For the power team, watch out for Londano, and impossible to split Zanaska and Maillard in the upcycled squad. We'll run through those squads in more detail because we have got our teams out and ready to go.
So the final seconds count down in the start pen for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in 2023. And away go, Category 4. They are the first starters today, and they are up and out of the start pen cleanly.
A clean start for Category 4, and this pack up and racing renowned for going hard from the gun to try and split these groups out. The Category 4 teams today are trying a brand new innovation. We're going to hit this straight from the start.
Oh,
here,
I love this. I absolutely love this. So the Cat 4 squads have been in touch with us, and please do get in touch at Biking Emma on Instagram, at Matt Fixapain. And Category 4, well, you can see some colour coordination outside of the Jersey arena today.
You can. So the different hat or helmet choices represent the team. So if you see a whole load of teams with a yellow cap, they're all the same team riders. The yellow hats are...
The yellow hat with the white stripe down the middle is Spinergy. The yellow caps on backwards,
the bandanas,
they are Team Tiny Visma.
I might have to go with them. I used to have a Il Pirata bandana that I used to
wear. There you go. Now, if you are a black cap with red stripes on it, that is the Anzacs. The thorough red cap with the white stripes, that's the Backhouse Sports Club. So coordination across Team 4 today.
I thought you were going to say coordination across the nation.
No, I stopped myself from saying that.
It was close, wasn't it?
It was very close.
It was very close.
Which is why I said Team 4, not Cat 4.
Okay, so...
Too much thinking.
Too much thinking. Don't do that. It's very dangerous, particularly on New Year's Eve. Now, the riders in our Category 4 race on the way down here. We took a little bit of a run through some of the riders in the teams. Emma, can you give us a little bit more detail? Fill in some more detail in there for us.
I can. So 34 riders on the start sheets today, 8 teams, as you mentioned. Now, this team competition is going to be really interesting for me because we've got some strong riders, but they really are spread across the team. So the Bauhaus Sports Club, Warren's been going really well. He's had a first, second and third place finish in the qualifiers this month. Horsley's been going well the last couple of weeks, a second and a third. So those two really strong riders leading that squad. Spinergy, Columbari has been going well, a third, a fourth and a fifth. The Anzacs McMurtry, he's had a third and a fifth. Noax had a first, a third, a fourth and a fifth. And Francis has had his fourth. Also, the Power squad, Largo's had a fifth and Arago's had a first. So as I mentioned, they are scattered across the teams. Now, that is 4 teams today with riders who have finished in the top 5 this month. So last month, it was the Bauhaus Sport Club who took the win from the Anzacs by 2 minutes. Can they reverse that today?
Be really interesting to see the pressure starting to come on here on this climb as we go over the top of the first of the bumps, the rise and fall in town at the moment. You see very bumpy race route today on our way to the final climb, including that climb of the aquarium. However, there are 2 big depressions before there. On the way through, there are 3 little hits as we run in to the aquarium climb. There's going to be the big climb out from the aquarium climb, and then we go across to the finale. It does mean that you've got to be on the ball all the way through in the race. Our Category 4, 1 big pack heading in through town. Our Category 3, they are ready to go. We've got some more big hitters here. Now, we do have a few individual riders in here, but for the teams, Anzac Wolfpack, let's go for these. Luke Allport, Mark Dadson, and Paolo Cosimano, all very strong. Colombian Andean, my pick would be potentially Arago from there. The Draft Squad, Tom Gates, absolutely good riding, very well indeed. The Gold Grabbers, Andre Dutch, another big hitter up at the top. The GUW Squad, well, it's going to be very interesting to see if Moreno is going to be there or it'll be Neville Ross's teammate. The Italian Espresso, if they all go out, the guns, and they've all had their espressos this morning, Caligula and Manello, potentially they're 2 big stars at the top. In terms of the Jayco Alula squad, watch out for Montoya. In our team of Ballot, well, with Ballot, for me, it's going to be a Bello or Demanuan who are likely to be up there. The Silver Snatchers, Taylor Gonzalez, and in X-Pro, Acevedo can never be discounted. Whew. Let's get ready to go. Here we are. Off we go underneath the banner. Happy New Year. It's coming. We've got to get there first. It's starting to arrive across the far side of the globe from where we are in the Full Speed Event studios. These riders are riding their way in towards 2024. Remember, from 2024 right the way through to 2026, the 3 years are, of course, the years the first of the partnerships between the UCI and, of course, the squad who are here for the MyWhoosh. So MyWhoosh and the UCI in partnership for 2024. And the official esports partner is MyWhoosh. Now, away we go. The riders up and riding in Category 3, making that start. Just one or two riders struggling, I think, from the start line just to get on to the pace. May well be they've got issues on the way through, but at the moment kicking away well. And certainly looking like Gonzalez, who we're in with our Mountier, nicely tucked in this group. There is one rider distance just coming away from the roundabout, and that is only going to increase if they're not careful, because we're going into one of those dips to drop down and head out and away. So Mountier at the moment nicely tucked in here. Emma, can you take us through some of the squad in detail? You've probably got a little less time, even though there's even more riders.
Well, there is even more riders. 51 riders on the start sheets of Category 3, and that is pretty normal for this Category 3 race field. It's always one of the biggest, and it's one of the biggest. The team competition is going to be phenomenal. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, I reckon, who are going to be in contention. The Anzac Wolfpack, Moutier's been 3rd, Cusmano's been 4th. Draft Cadiz has had a 3rd, but I've not got him in my list because, well, even though Winfield, Gates and Kansara are part of the team, the Gold Grabbers, every one of those riders has had a top 5 at least once this month. They were 2nd in November. Italian Espresso, who were 1st in November, it was only by 5 seconds, mind you. Caligula's had a 3rd, Monella's had a 5th, never discount Quadrelli, Roncalli or Bala, and Team Ballot, well, Elos has had a 2nd and Daniel's had a 4th. So, can the Gold Grabbers and Italian Espresso stay on the top? Will they switch it around, or will one of the other teams get in the mix?
And a quick reminder for you, the team competition is the fastest 3 riders in your team. Their times are added together. If you have the fastest combined time, you will be our team winner, with the top 5 teams taking away prize money in our finals all the way through 2023. The teams are always very, very strong across all of our race categories. Category 3, the biggest of our race fields here today in the finals. I think this is going to be an absolutely cracking race in here, and you can already see as we come into this same part, we saw Category 4 climbing and starting to break up the stretch. The pressure is on. Our rider who is distance is losing ground, but we're starting to see splits in the group, in the pack here, and this is the danger.
Look at that.
If there's a push on the front, if you are not attentive and you're not holding those wheels, once those gaps go, you've got to put a big effort in, and whilst you may not be distanced, and there are 2 riders at the back of this group who are in trouble, you may find the effort that you put in tells later on, and you pay the price later for the effort you put in earlier.
You do indeed, and we've got some really strong riders in this group. The strength and depth of Category 3 always amazes me. 12 different riders in this race field today who have finished in the top 5 this month. That doesn't include the riders who have gone up to Category 2.
So that's our Category 3 pack, who are already well and truly on their way. They're looking good at the moment. A quick reminder for you, we have Category 4 and Category 3 in the same world. They exist in the same world on MyWhoosh. They can draft each other, they can catch each other. When we go to the riders in Category 1 and 2, they're in a parallel world, and they can catch and draft each other in Categories 1 and 2. But 2 and 3, no, that doesn't work. Neither does 1 and 4. 2 different worlds. Now, we talked about the teams because it is the end of the month. It is our finals, and that means we have some big prize money to pay out, even over and above the already huge prize fund, because we have our teams and our individual riders taking part and qualifying for the prize money. Now, a quick reminder, 3 riders to count in that prize money scoring team, although you can take 5 riders down. Now, in category 4, the prize money, the win for the team in category 4 is 10,800 AED. If you go to 5th place, it's still 1,080 AED. That's in addition to our individual classification. In our qualifiers, it is just the individual classification. In the finals, the teams score as well. Now, category 4 is our standard category. Our riders then can move up to category 3. When we move from category 4 to category 3, you'll find that the prize money increases. It's now 18,000 AED for the win, 10,800 for second, 7,200 for third, 3,600 for fourth, and 1,800 for fifth. And if you are in that team classification in the winning team, the odds are you're probably likely to be in the top 5. And as you can see, the prize increasing. Top prize in category 3, 3,600 AED. Now, from category 4 to 3, we saw an increase. From category 3 to category 2, another increase. This time up to 30,000 AED for your winning team, 18,000 for second, 12,000 for third, 6,000 for fourth, and 3,000 for fifth. 6,000 AED for the individual win, running down to 1,200 AED for fifth place in that individual competition. So category 2, another step up again. There are no prizes for guessing what happens when we move from category 2 to category 1, because guess what? It goes up again. Now, individually, 2,000 to 10,000 AED. Big prizes, as we see all the way through the month. But in the team competition, are you ready? 5,000 AED for fifth, 10,000 AED for fourth, 20,000 AED for third, 30,000 AED for second, and a humongously gigantic end of year whopping of 50,000 AED for first prize in category 1 for the team. That is a huge amount of money. That's going to buy you a lot of fireworks, or it's going to get you on one of the cruises with change to spare that are going to be heading out and around to watch the fireworks out on the coastline of the UAE. Very, very interesting celebrations. Who will be celebrating and where? Well, we have riders around the world, and it's our time for the final time in 2023 to go ba-ba-ba-ba-bam, because it is Emma's Exchange. Emma, where in the world are we going for the alternative view of the prize money?
So in the women's race, if you've not watched it, we went to the first country in the world who are going to see the new year in. For the men's race, we are going to the last. The final inhabited country to see the new year in is American Samoa. The final uninhabited country, which is the last country in the world, or the last place in the world to see in the new year, is the Baker Islands and the Howland Islands.
The Baker and the Howland Islands.
Uninhabited.
Uninhabited.
The last inhabited place is American Samoa.
Okay, so what currency are they in?
US dollars.
Are all of those in US dollars?
They are indeed.
Okay.
So we are having US dollars for our last currency of the year, 10,000 AED, 2,722 US dollars.
So that is for the individual win in category 1. If you were the team winners, what are you going to win? 50,000 AED is
13,613 US dollars as of my exchange rate right now.
There we go. Now you heard it here first, and that is at the moment, as we speak, according to Emma's Exchange. Other currency providers are, of course, available. Now, we've got our Category 4 and Category 3 well underway at the moment with the racing well progressing, but we're going to move on to our Category 2 race start. Some brilliant teams in here because we have the Cafe de Colombia squad. Will it be Troy Janowski, who is going to get this, Marcin or Marcin, depending on whether you're English or Polish? Will it be the Hexagon team, Filippo Quadrelli? It could be their big point scorer there. Krasnich in the Hubbards, always very, very strong. The Tojo team, Andres looking good in there. Bjarhead in Team Tapas may well be their biggest scorer, but we will see. The Hitmen, well, they are always hard to split with Winfield, Grace, Simmons, and Ace. All 4 of them are going to need to have a mention. The Wattage Warlocks, and the wattage wizards. Well, for the Warlocks, Mohammed Al Alami, always a strong rider for the Wizards. It could be Quintero, Gates, or Dont. Let's see who it's going to be.
4, 3, 2, 1. Away they go. This is category 2. They are up and out of the start pen. 40 riders on the start sheets today. 10 teams. And will the hitmen blow themselves up with their own tactics today is my big question. But it's Carlos Ospina who's gone off the front, absolutely pulling them up to speed quickly as they've gone out of the start pen. The hitmen are keeping their powder dry, but it's only 200 meters gone. What is going to happen today? Now, Matt, last month, the wattage Warlocks beat the Hitmen by 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
That's a big gap.
But the Hitmen had a phenomenal tactic, and anybody who has watched that race, and if you haven't, go back and watch the November final. If you want to see a Category 2 team execute, let me tell you, a detailed, multi-page, handwritten plan. It was fantastic to watch, and they sent this kindly through the plan, not before the race but after it, so we got to see what their plan had been and how they'd executed. Are they going to execute something similar today, or are the wattage Warlocks or the wattage Wizards, who have got strength and depth and consistency on their side?
Yeah, and I think this is one of the things, isn't it? We've got a massive big field here, haven't we, in Category 2, not quite as big as Category 3, but not far away. But we've got a lot of very strong teams in there and strong riders. A lot of riders who've been up in the top 5, a lot of riders who've been up in the top 5 over the course of the year. At the moment, we're in with Mohammed Al Alami, who we know is one of our strong riders from the wattage Warlocks. The squad, wishing everybody, the Wizards and the Warlocks, actually, wishing everybody a happy Christmas and a happy New Year on social media. They had a great picture of all of them on bikes with big Wizards hats on.
Yeah, the
which
benefits of AI.
I'm not saying nothing. A lot of the newsletters I send out use it a lot. So it was great to catch up with them on social media. We do try and follow everybody, but I'm going to put this play out now. If you haven't been in touch with @BikingEmma, she sometimes gets lonely. And I would like to put this appeal out now on behalf of Emma. Please talk to her. I don't talk to her outside of the studio if I can help it. But she would like you to get in touch. Talk to Biking Emma. Tell her what you're getting up to on the bike. Tell Emma where you're riding. Tell her if you do own a 3-foot tall, 1 meter high Wizard's hat. Let us know if you're one of the wattage guys. It's really important. We love to know what you're getting up to. Just as importantly, it allows us to put some more detail and really give you the exposure as a rider, as the details. You'll know that we try and feature everybody. We don't know about everybody. We do get new riders. So if you're a new rider, if maybe you haven't been in touch, do get in touch @BikingEmma, @MattFixerPain. And don't forget, of course, whilst you're on there, make sure you give @MyWhoosh a follow on Instagram, on Facebook, and MyWhoosh on X, aka Twitter.
I would like to put a call out because
here we go.
Well, no, only about the getting in touch bit. Because if we on the English commentary pronounce your name in the English manner, and you would like us to pronounce it in a different way, send me a short video of you pronouncing your own name.
So we do have a rider who got in touch with us.
We do.
Marcin or Marcin, depending on which way around you want to pronounce it. And we are going to try and pronounce his name as exactly as we can. And I am going to caveat that. If your name, when you pronounce it, doesn't look anything like the lettering on the screen, we probably are not going to go with it, because this is an English commentary feed and we are trying to get everybody to realise who's doing what on the screen, and that doesn't always play out. We might even have to explain. Not always does it match up. So if you're Welsh and you've got more consonants than you have vowels, A, we're hardly going to pronounce it. B,
I don't know. I'm going to pronounce Siobhan from Ireland as Siobhan.
Okay,
but
let's have a look
at the Category 1 teams.
So let's fly through our teams. We have the Belgium and the Waffles squad in here. Osborne and Martins amongst the star-studded Gloucester Coalition Alpha Joe team have been super strong with Jasin and Kaminsky. Very, very quick indeed. The International Kate Club have got Ross Fawcett, the travelling man who rides everywhere. Don't forget, of course, that we've got Pain Toasted with Arlie Jacobs, Sweet Potatoes in there, the Sweet Potatoes squad with Johan Noren and Said Saffron. That could be their big scorers. The Human squad, well, Mendekowitz has got to be surely their big hitter in there. And, well, basically the entirety of the UAE clan team. They are going to be hitting it out. So here on the final race start of 2023, we are go for Category 1. All of our riders now being set off from the pens on the very last of MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in the men's competition for 2023.
They are up, they are out, and they are away. And it's Bjorn Andreasen who is leading them out. The world champion for esports in 2023 is leading the pack out in the finale of the 2023 Sunday Race Club.
Now, I'm going to be really interested. I can't believe that Bjorn Andreasen, he's not signed up for a team for the finals. I'm going to put that out there now. It may be that somebody has realised that and signed him up as a lastminute.com. I'm not sure if there's a deadline on this, actually, I must admit. But Bjorn Andreasen, I think, is a lone wolf rider. I tell you what, he's handing it out to the teams at the moment.
Tell
Look
you
at the
something,
power.
while I hand Matt the rule book, we are watching the race. He just really wouldn't want to consume that. The other rider who's on my start sheets today, not in a team, is Mikael Plantero, and he has had a 5th place this month as well and joined us very recently. But this is going to be an amazing competition for me today because, well, for everybody today, Michael Kaminsky, Lionel Vujasin from Coalition AlphaJaw, well, they have both been on superb, I'm going to say it again, superb form this month. They've been playing 1-2 with each other. Kaminsky's had a win and 2 seconds. Vujasin's had 2 firsts, a second and a 5th. The only rider to ruin the party for them is Michael Vink, and he's part and parcel of the UAE clan team today.
And that UAE clan team with Vink, with Popovic, with SS, and with Mr. X100 are the team that have historically pulled it out when it comes to the finals and been in contention. But, I mean, it's a big, big but. It's going to be very interesting. They don't have Michael Knudsen on board, so they only have 4 riders at the moment. That makes it harder because when I think you're in Category 1, I mean, T1G team, they've got 3 riders, Ilpino, Sultan and Juki. I think they're going to be very up against it with 3 riders because you see this on the big continental squads. The more riders you have, the more you can rest the other riders prior to the finale, chasing down moves like we see on the screen.
Well, whilst we see a bit of a push at the front of the pack at the moment from Keradine, Andreasen and Mayer, just picking up on those, top flight squads. Ross Fawcett did indeed post a picture last week of where he was, but not of the turbo trainer he was racing on, because he was out in Belgium watching the cross racing when he took part in the Sunday Race Club last week.
Excellent.
And he posted a picture saying that, making a joke that Ineos Grenadiers had lent him the turbo trainer that was outside their bus.
Ooh,
now wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would. Let's know if that is a true story.
Well, it is a true story because I have conversed with him. But the Ineos Grenadiers did not lend him the turbo trainer. He rode on his own turbo trainer. But I think, we should get an Ineos Grenadier rider onto the Sunday Race Club. Now that, or at least a lend of a turbo trainer to one of our regular riders.
I've got Tom Picot's skin suit.
Well, I know.
That doesn't really count.
That doesn't
if
really
I rode,
count.
I'd be off the back of Category 4.
If you could get Pidders actually onto the Sunday Race Club, now that would be something.
Well, they do well to headbutt anybody on this, let's face it. That's for
well,
sure.
If you're watching the cyclocross like we are in the Full Speed Event studio regularly as part and parcel of what we call work, you'll have been watching. You'd have been watching the action that has been happening over Christmas, and the action is happening here as well. The action over Christmas, the action on New Year's Eve is unfolding in front of us already. Only 2.8 kilometres into this men's race.
So sad. Keradine at that 2.8k marker in the front, closing down at Bjorn Andreasen, who keeps on attacking, keeps on putting the pressure on. He does not want this to be a stop-start kind of beginning. He wants the pace high, and he's making it so at the moment. The downside for him is that at the moment the riders behind are sitting in the pack and they are not panicking. They're experienced racers, and at the moment They are letting this race unfold and letting people have a little bit of a kick out here and not necessarily closing them down straight away. Now, as we come to the end of the Expo Sprint, the first of those sprint segments, we have 2 leaders going through, but they're not necessarily going to post the fastest time through the sprint. And that is quite simply because when you go through the sprint, you don't necessarily see exactly who is going fastest until you get all the riders through.
Well, going fastest at the moment, Bjorn Andreasen, 27.6 seconds with an average watts per kilo of 6.4 through there, with Keradine Pino. 2 Category 1 riders in the mix in the top 3. Ruben Dont from Wattage Wizards, Category 2, just sneaking in there in 4th place. Then Jochems Vink, Dan and Vidal Mayer rounding out 8th. Olivier Simmons, the Hitmen, we said they'd be motoring, 9th place.
You said Ruben Dont sneaked in there.
Well, he didn't sneak in there, really.
Well, I don't. Ruben Dont has a rowdy kind of riding style.
Oh, a rowdy riding style.
He does. He has a rowdy riding style. He goes out there and he kicks it out and he puts it down there and he's out there and he smashes
Rowdy
it.
behaviour good on New Year's Eve?
Always.
Well,
and if you're in the United Arab Emirates, you might be having that rowdy behaviour at the festival. I hope you really behaved if you're going to be there. Lots of great festivals. Big 3 festivals are actually on at the moment in the UAE, and one of them is actually going to be at on the way through. You've got 3 big festivals. You ready? The Liwa, the Mother of the Nation Festival. We've also got the one at Al Ain. We've also got the Sheikh Zayed Festival as well.
Well, I tell you what, there's a festival on the bike at the moment because this is a 3-man breakaway and they are now at 6 seconds. So they may well not have wanted them to go, but they have, you know. Andreasen, Mayer and Keradine. 3 riders down the road and the chase is now on behind.
3 festivals, 3 breakaway riders, and they are currently at the moment holding them off. It's not necessarily the big 3 at the front, though. Speaking of cyclocross phraseology, now you can tell I was on the mic for the UCI World Cup yesterday, and that came up from Hulst. Have a watch back.
We've got our own big 3.
We have our very own. Well, I don't know. I think we've got a big pack. I wouldn't want to separate 3 riders out of this group.
I have to agree.
And we're watching Lionel Vujassin, who would be a candidate for that big 3, because Lionel Vujassin really has, I think, found his flow at the moment in here. You know, he's riding through. He's nailing the downhills. He's making every single berm. If this was cyclocross, he wouldn't just be bunny hopping 1 hurdle at a time. He'd be doing both of them together because he's absolutely on form, and you can see that in how he's riding. He's got this dialed.
And I think that is a really interesting point, actually, Matt, because you're right. Vujassin has nailed the downhills this month. Now, the issue with this course today is it's mainly uphill, and it's mainly uphill at the end. That Category 1 climb at the end, 10 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 7%, 690 metres of climbing. Can he nail the up as well as he's nailed the down?
Now I'm going to pull you back. There we go. Quick rewind of Emma's voice there. Or should that be? So, I think this course actually has a downhill that is key. In fact, it has 2. It's got one that they're about to hit. You can see that Category 1. They come over the top here with this break on, with Bjorn Andreasen away, with a chase from Osborne and Mayer. Big hitters going over the top. They go into that descent and they nail that descent. They're going to open a bigger gap. Right-hand side of your screen, you've got Category 4 about to hit the up. This is really, really telling. Category 4 at the moment at 16.5 kilometres. This is the first of our climbs, the aquarium climb, and the second of those downhills that are key today is on the backside of this climb that Category 4 are on now.
Well, if you are new to watching the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club and wondering why Category 4 are ahead of Category 1 at the moment, it's because they start first. Category 4 start 20 minutes before Category 1. 5 minutes before Category 3 and 15 minutes before Category 2. They are the leaders on the road at the moment. They're 2.3 kilometres actually still ahead of Category 3. They are moving really, really well today. Category 2 at 8.9 kilometres, Category 1 at 6.5. But as you can see on your screen, all of the race fields still large packs on the road.
And when we talk about hitting that first Category 2 climb, it is the first real key selector of the contenders. You can't be a contender if you're not with the group together as they go over the top, or not within touching distance, because you go over the top of the aquarium climb, you go into the descent, and that is where the draft advantage, being in the big pack at the front, will take you through. So that is the first real key selection point. At the moment, this group are together coming through, but not all of our riders have successfully negotiated the down across the bottom and on to the climb. Michael Vink is in here. Now, Vink, riding for the UAE clan team, is the big marked man. If ever a man had a target on his back that said, I am the man to beat, I am the one you need to worry about, Michael Vink has it. I think he just can't help it. It shines through the yellow jersey, whether he likes it or not.
I do think the other Category 1 riders, I was going to use the word worry. Do they worry? They definitely think about Michael Vink, but the rider down the road at the moment, I'm not sure he's thinking about Michael Vink.
Bjorn Andreasen is on a mission today. He is on a mission today.
He wants to go out of 2023 on a high.
Well, do you know what I'm gonna put out there? Is this Bjorn Andreasen, who is a relative newcomer to riding on the Sunday Race Club, relatively, but is the world champion, deciding, do you know what? Because I don't necessarily ride the platform as well, and I'm not as good at judging my efforts where it is, and I don't want to respond to everybody else's pace, deciding he's going to use his talents and his ability to go on the front and set his own pace.
No, I think you've got your motivation wrong. I think he's gone, come on, 2023, you've given me the best year. Let's go. Let's see you out in style.
Could be. Let's see what he's going to do. I think this is Andreasen setting the tactics. He is setting the pace, and it means that he can use his phenomenal ability to give you the result he wants to give you, not answer and sing to everybody else's tune.
It's Carradine who is in no man's land at the moment, behind Andreasen, but in front of Osborne. It's Jason Osborne and Christoph Thiem who are leading the pack at the moment. They're leading the charge. The pack 4 seconds behind at the moment as they're on to this rise at 8.1 kilometres. It is just a rise, but it's a little steep kicker. It's just over 6.5%, now dropping as they get to the top.
And this kick out, this is the far side, it's the backside effectively. That roundabout climb up out from that depression is a tough climb in its own. I've been up through here, I've followed Mistakes 100 and SS up this climb, out on a ride, and do you know what? It's blooming hard work. There's no other way to describe it. It is not an easy climb in its own right. And yet today, because of the scale of the hills that we have, it is not a categorized climb, and yet it is still going to cause problems for the riders. Even if they don't break up, got to remember all of this is taking its toll on the riders. Now, a bit further up the road, we have our Category 3 leader. Luke Allport is on the attack at the moment, a rider who I flagged at the start of the show. I'm getting that in there really quickly because it's probably the only one I'm going to get right all day.
That Category 3 pack are the second race field to hit that first climb of the day, the aquarium climb. It's a Category 4 climb. It's 3.3 kilometres long, 2.9% average gradient, starting at 16.4 kilometres into this race. And Allport just stretching his legs. He's not gone clear of that group at all. Davidson just watching what's going on the front of the pack. They're keeping their eyes on Allport, but Allport is keeping his legs and those power through those pedals.
He is indeed. He's holding that pace and he's setting the pace on the climb. And it is easier to ride when you are riding at your own pace. If you've ever ridden in any kind of group or bunch, you'll know that you set your pace, your speed, your pedal cadence. It's going to go another attack on the front. No prizes for guessing.
It's Pino. So Francis Pino is attacking on the front of this Category 1 pack, but he's attacking to chase down Andreasen and Carradine, or is he attacking just for that sprint? Will he keep this effort going now the sprint is over? No, he's sitting up and he's off those pedals, you know. That wasn't an attack to bring the chasers back to the two riders who were away. That was just an effort through the sprint.
Have we ever seen two riders hold 12 seconds to the finish? Bjorn Andreasen is sitting in 5th place in the sprint. Sir Carradine is sitting in 4th place in the sprint. Pino went through there in 2nd place, so the leading Category 1 rider. There's next to nothing, though, separating the top 8 in there. I think, I have to say this, I think that this is showing that these two riders mean business. Carradine and Andreasen are looking to take this all the way through. Now, can they, first of all, they've got to get it to the Aquarium climb. Can they then stay clear on the climb? And how long will the riders behind give them, bearing in mind that Bjorn Andreasen is not part of a team? Sir Carradine also not part of a team.
You see,
two solo riders.
Will the other squads just be looking at each other behind? I think the team competition is here. We can let those two go and pick up the individual prizes. It's a team prize we're fighting for today. It's going to be interesting to see. But one of the things that going through that segment says to me, Matt, is that all the squads are moving faster. All the categories are moving strongly. Through that point of the race, I'm just taking a scroll back. In fact, it's the Cat 2 and Cat 3 squads that were moving the slowest. Cat 3 moving the slowest there. That's the biggest on the road. But really interesting to see. Now, this course, the Jebel Hafid, the last time the men were here was in qualifier 3 in November. In the Category 1 race, it was Vink Martins from Knudsen. 1 hour 19 minutes for the win for Vink, 18 seconds back to Martins, 41 seconds back to Knudsen. To compare that, 124 in Cat 2. Graves was 2 seconds back. Simeons was 9 seconds back. It was Betty who took the win. Category 3, 1 hour 30 minutes. Category 4, 1 hour 39. And it was McMurtry, Zanaska, and Nowak. And at the moment, it's Horsley and Columbari in Category 4 who are 4 seconds ahead.
They gone over the top of the climb in front. Warren chasing Agudelo, Arrego, Casagrande, Largo, Francis, Brito, Pino, Rooney. They're all coming through thick and fast behind in the climb categorization over the top. But very, very evident that the leaders there trying to stay clear. Now, Francis Pino, we saw go clear on the front. We're now seeing him go through the next sprint as well. He's clearly looking to maximise his sprinting points through here and use it as a way to come back to our two leaders. Quick reminder, these are not the leaders on the race route. We have got Bjorn Andreasen and Sir Carradine kicking on, trying to stay clear. But when you look at this, Pino goes through the sprint. Yeah. Great result for him. Goes through fastest. Then we have a whole raft of Category 2 riders from 2nd to 7th place. Ruben Don leading them through. Then it's Lionel Vujassin chasing.
Yeah.
Almost an identical time. 7 thousandths of a second separating Vujassin from Bjorn Andreasen. Nothing.
Yeah, but Andreasen was moving at the front there. You see 5 point. But now, and this is a good point. Andreasen was moving in 9th place at 5.3 watts per kilo, but Vujassin set a fastest time at 3.7 watts per kilo. And for those of you looking at that who might be new to esports, thinking, what is going on? Vujassin is in the pack. The pack gives him the draft. He does not have to do as high a watts to get a faster time than Andreasen, who is out on his own at the front. So Andreasen and Carradine, who are out at the front of this pack, will have to put in more effort or more watts to travel through that sprint segment faster than somebody who has utilised the draft of this large pack of Category 1 riders, such as Vujassin.
And that is particularly true over a short section where it's maybe even faster. Now, top of the climb over on the far side of the hill and in towards the descent go our leaders in Category 3. Just taking a little look at this group coming through with Davidson on the front, pushing with Scretting just behind. But this pack are pretty much together. We've only got 1 or 2 people, I think, who have not made the selection over the top. You can see as we look back here, the pack are tight together and they are holding position. Nobody wants to lose a wheel and not benefit from that draft to be able to go down. You saw that graphic demonstration of Andreasen versus Vujasin in the sprint. That is in the flat sprint. This is a big downhill. It's going to be even more critical to be in the wheels.
Well, talking about being in the wheels, I think there's about 30 riders in this leading group in the category. 3 races. Yep, 3-0. 30 riders. That is not 3-0 riders we can see in front of us at the moment. That is a small group of 3 riders being led by Michael Vink, starting the push on now. Push on now to try and reel back in the 2 riders out 10 seconds up the road.
And the reaction starting to come as the push goes on the front. You can see people starting to snowball through as this group responds. So they're realizing that, yep, we're starting to kick. We're starting to put chase in. You can see that there's some movement in amongst the riders there as they come through, and they're going to do some real bouncing in and round here. So Nair that we're in with at the moment really starting to squeeze. You can see top of your screen when the wattage is in green. Green is good, white is in the wind. So green is good, white is in the wind. 20 minutes of moving time at the moment, and we are 13k into this race route. Really, really important for our riders to keep pushing. They do not want to let that gap go too far between themselves and Andreasen and Carradine, but I think this is starting to bring back the leaders. It'll be interesting to see what that time gap is between the group and the riders in front. Are 2 riders who distance. Another quick kick off. I think somebody's trying to bridge across here. And again, you're going to see a response. This is going to bring them down. They are in sight. It's Mr. X100. Now, the UAE clan team starts to wind up. Yeah, they're going to send Mr. X100 down the road. Now, this is a big kick. We've seen 8 watts per kilo, 8.5. He will get onto the wheels. He's going to pull this group back together again. He's chosen his moment well here as they come down, and look at that, just jump straight on to the wheels. He's not going to force the pace to keep them clear, but that is a great bridge across, and that is some move. Look at that.
And straight onto the front.
Words.
So X100 closes the gap, but he only closes the gap himself, and he gets straight onto the leading 2 riders, goes onto the front and does a turn, and he picks up the pace of those 2 riders. So 5.5 watts per kilo. We know he can sit at around 5.5 watts per kilo. We've seen him time trial at that level for a substantial period of time, and he's holding the pace, and he's making Andreasen and Carradine work for this. They're working hard, and the gap at around 6 seconds.
So 6 seconds, the gap back. Hassan Sultan leading the charge behind. But I tell you something, that the dips and raises here, the slight changes in grid are going to take their toll on them. It's a good move, isn't it?
This is clever because, you know, the pack behind probably thought that the UAE clan team were closing the gap down to bring it all back together.
I thought so.
And, well, they've confused Matt. They've confused everybody else as well, because the gap, well, X100 has gone on to the front of that leading group, and they are round the corner and out of sight.
I'm just going to sulk in the corner.
So whilst Matt sulks in the corner on the final day of the year, you can tell it's a pleasant day in the Full Speed Event Studio. The pack are moving in this Category 1 race, and they're moving comfortably. I'm sitting here looking. So X100 with the 2 riders on the front. He's with Carradine and Andreasen. You can just see on that long shot the pack further back on the bridge. That's being led by Pino. Bjorklund is there. Panizza is there. Mayer is there. Van Elst is there. Nair is there. They are all in that main pack. They are 11 seconds back.
So 11 seconds back, stealing the words that I was about to use. It is the pack behind. Now, it was 7 seconds. It's gone to 11 with the pace going on there. I will add I am easily confused, so it's not all that difficult. So I shouldn't really sulk for long. Another emoticon coming in. You can do this when you're riding. If you're riding in a group, if you're out there, really easy to do. Bottom right hand side of the screen, you'll see a little circular symbol. Tap on that, you get an option of what you want to do. Does it want to be lightning bolts? Does it want to be spins? Does it want to be turns? Take your turn coming through. I've run out of battery. I'm dead. I'm dying. Whatever you want to put out there, it's down on there. You can use that emoticon to express what you want to do. These three are working together on the left hand side of your screen. Category 1. 3 leaders away, now at 13 seconds, separating the 3 leaders from the chasers behind. They've just gone down one of the slight depressions before they go into the climb. Remember, the climb starting in half a kilometer's time. It starts at 16.4k. The leaders in category 1 approaching the aquarium climb. Going to be very interesting. The category 2 we just saw are on the climb, but this is going to be a critical moment now. What will happen when we hit that climb? Will we see the gap open some more? These 3 continuing onwards. They are working well together. Bjorn Andreas and Mr. X100 and Sad Carradine really are doing a great job here of pushing on. Mr. X100 wants to take this into the climb. He's going to be looking to maximize this gap at the moment. He's gone hard. He is continuing to push at 5.5 watts per kilo. And I think Bjorn Andreas and Sad Carradine really need to go with this now, because the gap as they hit the base of the climb, it is 22 seconds. Now 24 seconds max, I think, as they go in. Let's see what happens when they go on to the climb. 24 seconds the gap as he went on there. This is going to be telling what will happen. It's one big ball, one big budge, a mass of riders chasing. They are chasing the leaders. They are on to the first of our categorized climb, and now we're starting to see a little bit of a push on the front. The watts per kilo starting to lift. Jones about 6 watts per kilo. Walter doing 6 watts per kilo. Van Diemen, he's up at 6. We're seeing Zach Nair kicking on at about the same kind of pace up at the front of the group. They are not panicking, but neither are they chasing this down in a concerted chase.
Yeah, they're not, are they? They're seeming quite happy to sit here. Now, one of the reasons this well may be is because this Jebel Hafeet climb at the end, it is an exceptionally long climb. 10 kilometers of climbing, 7% average gradient. They think this race is going to play out on that climb. Now, Olivia Simmons thinks he's going to have a push on before he gets to that climb. He's currently on the final stages of the first categorized climb of the day. This is the category 4 climb. This is the aquarium climb. And Simmons stretching his legs here. Now, we've seen other riders attack on the top of this climb and actually push on and over the top and utilize the descent as part and parcel of their attack. Now, Simmons from the Hitmen, we said they were one of the teams with tactics. Now, our teams do indeed at the final stages of the month in the finale put their tactics together, and some of them put them in detail on paper, and then they execute them. So Simmons, Graves, teammates pushing on here. Mayer is here as well, and so is Dont. Now, these teams know each other. They ride week in, week out, and these teams come together at the end of the month. The Wattage Wizards is Dont. The Hitmen is Graves and Simmons. They continue to push. The other riders are ensuring that they are not leaving the station. They are not going without them. There's a stretch on the group as they come up to the top. We've got one rider distanced, and that is it.
So the kick over the top, critical to leave behind anybody that you have put a gap into, to make sure that you do as much damage as possible over the top. Everybody kicking through. Big group goes over the top. 2 riders, I think, now out of the back of this pack as they go over the top of the aquarium climbing category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen. Category 1, left-hand side of your screen are leaders at the moment, still holding over 20 seconds from the chasing pack behind. On this climb, the aerodynamic advantage of being in that big pack will be offset by the gravitational effects. It is all about watts per kilo. It's about power. But we are now seeing a push. They are now starting to string this out. You can tell by there's a little bit of an arrowhead on the front.
I am almost catching flies in the studio. My mouth is open. I'm aghast at the distance this pack have allowed those 3 riders to get. And interesting, it was X100 when he made that bridge and he went across. He's the rider who has instigated those additional seconds on that group. You know, he's the one who's pushed this out. Can this group now do something to close down? The arrowhead is forming at the front. The push is on, but it's 15 seconds they've got to close down. And interestingly, it's Michael Vink. Now, why would Vink close it down to his own teammate unless there is a plan?
I'm sure that there is always a plan, surely, from the UAE clan team. I think with this vicious acceleration at 8 watts per kilo, Michael Vink wants to bridge across to his teammate here. At the moment, he's bringing across 2 real danger men in terms of Lionel Vujasic and Zach Nair. They're almost on his heels. A Theme, a Demon, Martin's closing, but at the moment, this could be a bringing it across. It could take that group across to 6. Demon goes over the top, in fact, here. And this little kick by Michael Vink, where he was looking to go across, I think if he went there, he needed to go harder. That needed to be almost a sprint to break the draft, because what's it done? This is bringing them back.
Well, it may well have been bringing them back, but it has brought that front group down to about 8 seconds, which is much more manageable. They are in sight now and in mind, and I think we're going to see a much more active chasing group now to bring that group back in.
And we are close enough to the top that if the leaders are caught at the top of the climb, they will be able to stay with them. Not just going to go charging past them. Out of the back, 2 riders at least now distanced by the main group. So we have on the front 3 riders up at the front. They are at the moment got fractions of a second. It is disappearing almost as fast as we're speaking here. So the chasing group come on. The first catch is made. We have 1 out of the 3 back, rapidly going in to the group. 2 more in front left to close down. And if you are caught, you have got to get in this group because you don't want to drift right the way out the back.
Talking about being caught out is another thing that's happening here. We saw 2 riders off the bat. Now we're seeing more with the pressure at this front group to make this catch as they go under the polka dot banner, signifying the end of the aquarium climb. We do indeed have a big split in this leading group, and whilst I say big, I do mean big, but there's still a large group of riders in that front section. So we've now got 2 riders clear, a chase group, and then a further group back down the field. So David Talbot sets the fastest time up that climb of 5 minutes 46 seconds. He's in that chase group in this category 1 race. Van Diemen in 2, Jochems 3, Kaminski 4, Jones 5, Theme 6, Vujasic 7, Van Elst 8, and Osborne 9th. They are all in that chasing group in that category 1 race.
And a real mix of teams still in contention in Category 1. The rider pushing on at the front here is Mr. X100. He has got the lead. He's got company in Bjorn Andreas, and the 2 riders are well on the way down this slope, and they are holding off the group behind, who have the advantage of having more riders in the group. They should be getting more draft advantage.
Now, what's really interesting, these 2 riders out front here, Andreasen and X100, were the 2 slowest of the first 25 Category 1 riders on that climb. So the chasing group, 23 riders strong, left in that leading group, or should I say left in that chasing group.
That was a thoughtful from me there. So we have 2 leaders who went on the attack, who got the gap. It went up to 24 seconds. It was brought down to literally a handful of seconds. It was only bike lengths between the chasing group and the leaders. So the chasing group, what's left of the peloton, brought them right back. But now that gap has started to open back up again on the descent. And it seems to me, Emma, that in this bunch, nobody really wants to do the work. Everybody wants to save as much as possible towards either the attack out from this descent, because it is a steep climb as we come out from the descent, or the final climb?
Well, I think they know they're going to do the work on the final climb. It's 10 kilometers long. That is a lot of work and a lot of power. And just taking a quick run through the other categories, what is interesting is whilst category 1 are at just shy of 22 kilometers, 2 kilometers down the road are category 2. That's still a good sized group. At 29 kilometers, well, that is category 3, another large group. Category 4, well, do you know what? They are only 500 meters ahead of that category 3 leading group. We are about to see, I think, at some point, these two groups come together, and they are both, I wanted to say humongous, but I'm going to say huge groups of riders on the road.
Humongous is fine. This is because this is not like when these two groups come together. If they are this size, this is not like just bouncing two tennis balls together. This is like crashing two planets together. That's the scale of it. Well, look at the size of them.
I was thinking more Pilates gym ball.
Well, just no. These are massive. I mean, like two asteroids colliding. You're just going to see debris going everywhere because of the current. Because we are in the same world. They can draft. They can take advantage. They can move through. They can attack. They're not going to be able to see everybody. You're not going to know what's going on. That is going to be a real mess.
Well,
there's no other word for it. It's going to be a mess.
One of the riders moving through strongly today has been Mr. X100. He moved off of the chase group and he moved through to the leading 3 riders. 2 of those riders are now back in the pack, and X100 is out with Bjorn Andreasen. 10 seconds clear still as they run towards now what is going to be the final climb of the day. The Jebel Hafeet comes at 34.5 kilometers. Well, it's still 10 kilometers of transition, but it is a transition. There is nothing categorized in terms of climb on the way, but there are 2 sprint segments.
Now, there's nothing categorized, but we are about to hit another of the big climb sections that are not categorized here. We had the first one early on, the kick out through the roundabout. This is the post climb ascent. So this is the post aquarium climb ascent. When we go through the aquarium climb, we drop down and we actually go quite low. It's the second lowest point on the course in totality. We then climb up from that, and this climb that's coming up now is not easy, and it does lose riders, and it always makes people hurt. Always. It's never taken at a pace that everybody is comfortable, because it is a key point. And distance-wise, it's not far from the climb. We're not all that far from the climb. We do have some rolling on the way through as well.
Well, there is rolling on the way through, but there is nothing rolling about that final climb. The early stages of it kick to 13%, and it is going to be one fight and one battle all the way to the finish line today for not just the category 1 riders, but the category 2, 3 and 4. And now the shot on the left-hand side of your screen is giving us a really clear indication of what has happened to this category 1 leading group. Now, when we went up that first aquarium climb, that category 4 climb, we had one rider come off the back quite early, and then in the latter stages of that climb, we had the group split, and you can see that clearly here. So we've still got the 2 lead riders down the road. So 4 yellow blobs of different sizes chasing the back markers in the category 2 race.
4 groups, but 2 of those in contention. I don't think we're going to see the back 2. If you're distanced on the climb, you're distanced for a reason, and I don't think it's in attention now. Let's switch our attention to category 2 here, because we have Henry East and Olivier Simmons on the attack at the moment. Remember, of course, that we are now starting to get closer towards the point where people's attention turns to the big climb at the end. However, Ace and Simmons wanting to keep the pace that little bit hot, just keep people on their toes. They're going to get pulled back here. The gap has come back down again, but we are coming into that descent, and it would make sense to me to not continue to push too hard here, to accept the inevitable and jump in with the group, because the group is not far enough behind. Back with category 1. You can see another attack going this time around. You can see the move has been made by Jones and Nair, and they have attacked the group and bridged across to Mr. X100. Mr. X100 almost ever present at the front here. 6 seconds is the gap back to the bunch, so it came down from 24 down into single digits, into less than 5 seconds on the top of the climb. It went back out again. It came down, and as it comes together, we're seeing a move across. And this time, it looks like Andreasen has gone back into the group. And now we've got a new mix of riders at the front, but the part that is the same, the rider that is the same, Mr. X100.
Well, it is all change at the front of this Category 1 race at the moment, and it is really mixed up. So the UAE Clan team, the Sweet Potatoes and Coalition Alpha Jaw, with one rider each in this leading group of 3. It's 10 seconds back to the chasing group, and it's Martin Martins at the front with Stefan van Elst. Jamie Velez is there as well. So Noren, Van Diemen, Vujasin, Daniele Ratto, all in the mix. Arnie Jacobs is there as well. We could keep going because that group is full of talent, but at the moment the push is on here from Stefan van Elst. He's pushing on because he can see the leaders, the 2 breakaway riders. Look at the stretch that van Elst has created on that pack.
And this is at the top of that climb out. This is coming towards the high point. So this is the culmination of ascending out from the post-aquarium climb dip onto the next section, out from the dip that follows. This climb here, it is the biggest climb that is non-categorized on the course today. It is just smaller than the aquarium climb, but only just. It is only just smaller than the aquarium climb. It's just on that borderline between being an uncategorized and category 4 climb. As they go over the top, the leaders are continuing to push. Mr. X100, Zach Nair, Ollie Jones, the trio of riders pushing over the top, trying to maximize their pace. They are going to continue to kick here because they will want to maximize the distance between themselves and the chasers behind. We have a bit of a downhill and then a long, relatively flat section to take us into the main climb. Big gap starting to open in Category 1 between the leaders. And I'll tell you something, if Mr. X100 wanted to make this race hard for everybody, that's exactly what he's doing. And he is the rider who is instigating the action in our monthly finals here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Will it continue? Will he make it stick? Well, this is where he's heading.
Ola Warren and Kevin Horsley in the Category 4 race, making it stick at the moment. 6 seconds clear they are at the moment. They're at 34.2 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. They got 300 metres until they see the polka dot banner signifying the start of the Jebel Hafid. There it is. It is coming. Horsley and Warren. It's Horsley in the polka dot skin suit, identifying him as the Category 4 rider who went up the aquarium climb the fastest, but it's Ola Warren who puts the first dig in. Horsley responds. They are side by side onto the Jebel Hafid, and the chase is coming behind. So Columbari, Largo, Ochoa and Zanaska, Ian Lloyd, Jeff Rooney are all in that chasing group. It's a huge chasing group behind. They too are underneath that polka dot banner. This is it now for the Category 4 race. They were the first race to start today. They are the first race on the Jebel Hafid. They have 10 kilometres to go.
So Largo pushing on, trying to break clear of Zanaska, Columbari and Arago behind. This group starting to get that characteristic distance, the spread, the shape that we see when the pressure is on. They're your Category 4. They're the leaders on the road. Immediately behind them, though, travelling through Al Ain. This is Category 3. Now, they, at the moment, are coming through the base of the climb. They're going to hit this banner and go from the Al Ain district to the climb. The Al Ain district, if you're in Al Ain at the moment on New Year's Eve, get yourselves down to the Hazard bin Zayed Stadium. That is where the New Year's fireworks will be. Big display of fireworks down there. Going to be a really great party. Make sure you get yourselves down if you're in the Al Ain area at the base of the Jebel Hafid, because it's going to be a great night out. Lots of action here on your screens, because this is the main bunch. And what is noticeable about this main bunch, Emma?
Well, I think they're all back together.
It's looking kind of that way.
No, they're not.
And do you know why?
I don't think they are.
They are not. But
because
what
we've got a green category 2 back marker shadowing.
Indeed, and that helped disguise, because the green disc was over the top of the yellow, and that makes it difficult. If it's difficult for us, bear in mind we're not riding, we're just talking about it, it's even harder for the riders. They will know they've not brought them back, but they won't know how far in front they were. That could have caused panic there.
Well, through the Dunes sprint, it is indeed X100 setting the fastest pace, 5.3 watts per kilo, 21.4 seconds. Nick Squillari from Cat 2 setting the second fastest time, just 0.4 of a second back. Ollie Jones, Cat 1, Ruben Don, Cat 2, Zach Nair, Cat 1, and it just keeps going.
So here we go. This is the riders going through at the moment. Jones in here. Mr. X100 is the green skin suit. Don't be fooled into thinking that's a second category rider. They've dispatched Squirrelari off the back of that pack as they came in through. He was the rider who was shadowing them, or attempting to. As they make their way up here, this is a little bit of a kicker that comes out and through. This is going to be very interesting to see if they can keep this pace rolling. That gap, Emma, is staying where it is. And all those little moments where you get a Category 2 rider with them, you can't see, that is what can cause consternation in the bunch. Really telling for me, the chase behind isn't really a chase. And I'm saying that because the time gap is nearly 20 seconds.
Wow, 15 riders in that chase group, 3 riders up the road, Zach Nair, Ollie Jones, Mr. X100, 3 class riders, but at the moment it's only the rider on the front doing the work. X100 at the moment sat taking some recovery, Zach Nair pushing on, Ollie Jones coming through. These riders have got to work together. Can they work together? Ollie Jones, Coalition Alpha Jaws, Zach Nair, Sweet Potatoes, X100, UAE Clan Team.
Mr. X100 has, though, a great reason to sit on here. And that is because he's been out there so long. There's always more leeway given to riders who've been out there longer. And if you bridge the cross, you get a little bit of a chance to recover, but then the pressure comes on to chase down. Now, we are going to see our planets collide here. So we come together. The kick comes from Cadiz. He's the first one. Fortunately, I think for the confusion or lack of it that's going to come up, we have seen a big split in Category 4. Category 4 bunch is no longer as big a bunch. It is in smaller groups, which will mean it's easier to keep a track of what's happening for the riders in Category 3, led by Daniel Kaziz, with Arago in second, Brett Davidson in the polka dot skin suit, the rider who is right up in the mix. They are chasing through the group. We are seeing, though, as many riders distance, I think, in Category 3 out the back as we've seen in Category 4 out the back of that category as well. They are smaller groups, and it is the hillside, it's the climb up here doing the damage.
Well, this climb at the moment, 7.7%, 8.2%, 8.7, 9.3, 9.8, 10.2. It just keeps getting steeper as they sweep round this right-hand bend. It's over 11% at the moment. And if you take a look at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, that graphic gives you absolutely brilliant shot of what is happening in this race at the moment. The story is unfolding in both the Category 4 race and the Category 3 race as these riders continue up this climb. Davidson, Winfield, Arago, Elos, all in the mix in the Category 3 race. That's on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, we jump back to the Category 1 race where those 3 riders are now 22 seconds clear. And you know what? I can't imagine it's going to be very long before they start to see the Category 2 race field, but they are still some way up that road. There is, however, still a significant period of time before these riders reach the climb.
There is. They are currently going through the last exit sprint. This is our snapshot of how fast those riders are going in Category 1 and who is putting the pressure on, who is chasing it hard. So at the moment, leaders have made their way through the sprint. There's a kick here from Saad Keradine. He's pushing because he's got the green sprint skin suit. He continues through there, but sits up the moment he goes underneath the banner. The riders around him will now come over the top. That should, in theory, have brought the gap down. If Keradine's sprint was fast enough to put the fastest time in, which it is. Now, key here, as you look on your screen, are any of the breakaway in the top 9? The answer to that is no. It's not happened. They are further down. Now, this means that the time gap has come down substantially in that little sprint section. One of the reasons that Carradine came through, you can see that Stefan van Elst in 9th place was 2.28 seconds down. So it's at least 2 seconds been taken out of the lead, out of the gap between the peloton, or what is left of it, and our leaders on the road in Category 1. And that stat shot showing the difference in pace. Nick Scarlari didn't manage to stay with the race leaders. He's managed to stay with the group behind it, which is that bigger pack. Now, Zach Nair kicking on a little bit here. He's got 4 seconds to Mr. X100 and to Ollie Jones at the moment. Then it's Jody Jochems coming through. So Jochems immediately behind and just about in view. I think Nair was seeing the gap come down. He wants to take this gap into the climb. We're at 32.4 kilometers. We still have 2K to go to the base of the climb. The climb coming at 34.5K. Zach Nair with a big effort here.
Well, we use that phrase, don't we? Out of sight, out of mind. And the leading group of 3 were indeed out of sight of the chase group. Now, going off the front of the chase group, well, they could well catch the 2 behind and not realise Nair is gone.
It's possible, but highly unlikely.
I know.
If this was
particularly if they've
outdoors,
got the broadcast,
if this was outdoors, you would be basically going, have we got them all? How many went down? You have that confusion here. You got your satellite navigation view on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen, you've got those jerseys indicating yellow, green, blue, and red for your categories 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it should be fairly obvious to the riders who's what and where, particularly when the groups are reduced so much. The groups in Category 1 are smaller. But go across to Category 3 and 4. Category 4, that is not a small group at all, and the Category 3 leaders are in them.
Well, it's an 11-rider group ahead of the leading riders in the Category 3 race. That's Taylor Gonzalez, Brett Davidson. They are just clear of Kochkov in this Category 3 race. They are now working their way through what I would say is the leading group, but it's sort of the leading piece of spaghetti. It is so stretched along the road. It is not a wide group. It is a long, thin line of Category 4 riders, and Gossolin and Davidson continue to tap on the pedals and work their way through. They will shortly be the leaders on the road. They will have passed all of the 34 Category 4 riders that were on the start sheets today.
And it's great to see Taylor Gonzalez having a great ride here today. He had a good ride all the way through. I mean, we were talking about Taylor Gonzalez on the MyWhoosh Championship. If you haven't watched it, if you decide, you know what, I've got a bit of holiday time, I want to watch some racing, have a look at the MyWhoosh Championship that took place earlier in 2023. Some amazing racing in there, some great coverage, real big prize pot, $1 million. $1 million prize pot for that championship. And boy, did the riders have to work for it. And there were prizes across the mountains category, the sprints, and in each individual category, and in the age group competitions. So really, really good racing in there. Fired up by the opportunity to win some big prizes, as there is here today.
Well, I'll tell you who's fired up at the moment in this Category 3 race, and that's the Silver Snatchers. Sur currently in 3rd place. Taylor Gonzalez also in the mix there, up at the front with Brett Davidson. So 2 riders from the Silver Snatchers in the top 3 riders. Di Dutch is there. So I'm just running my way quickly through these riders to see who else is in the mix and what other teams are around. But it's really, really interesting to see those 2 riders from that one team right at the front of this field.
So Koshkova, the gold grabbers, right at the front of the race in that 3-4 world.
2 gold grabbers, 2 silver snatchers.
Well, let's see which colour's going where as our riders go on. They're currently in the gold, silver and bronze positions in the race itself, but there is nothing to choose between them. The group have been pulled pretty much back in here. It looks to me like Nair and Jones and X100 are going to see the pack coming at them. They're on to the final climb for the final time. It's all uphill to 2024 from here.
Yeah, it is indeed. There's going to be fireworks at the top tonight, or should I say here in the UK this morning, depending upon where you are in the world. If you're in Australia, the fireworks may already be outside your window. If you are in the US, you may well be wanting to go back to sleep before you even think about them.
Speaking of fireworks, did you know? Here you are, another random fact for you. As they come on here, this is going to be fireworks, and there are going to be potentially four Guinness World Records set today for fireworks today as part of the Sheikh Zayed Festival that is going out. It is going to be a special celebration, and in addition to that, 5,000 drones.
Well, what could I say? Please stay safe, everybody, wherever you are today.
I tell you something, the displays are absolutely stunning. That's in the Al Wathba area.
Well, I'll tell you what is outstanding is the displays we're seeing already today, and the display we're going to see on this final climb for 2023.
They are indeed. It is the last climb. It's the last route to the summit. We're making our way up on to the top. Look at the riders. It's so similar across the four race groups. We often see one or two of them with maybe a solo leader. But realistically, these races are still relatively wide open across all of our categories. Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen. Category 1 on the left-hand side of your screen here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club Finals for December. The final on the final day
of the final day.
It is. And I'll tell you something, we couldn't wish for more, could we really? Because we are going to see this explode. We are on the iconic mountain of the Jebel Hafid. This, for me, the end of the year is about looking back and looking forward. For me, this climb typifies and symbolizes MyWhoosh's progression. The first time we came on here, the graphics were more basic, the dynamics were more basic, the riders have basic tactics. Now, do you know what? This is absolutely astounding. What riding, what a platform, and what a way to finish off the year.
Well, what a way these Category 2 riders are going up this climb. They are over 1.5 kilometres into this 10-kilometre climb. And there is still a huge group of Category 2 riders together. You can see on that bottom left-hand side of your screen, the group has split. It was much bigger. But there are still over 20 riders in this leading group. We've talked about the strength and depth of these categories before. But it's Cam Winfield, the young rider from Australia, who we have seen push on and get better and better and better in real life, on the road, on the mountain bike, and on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. He's joined by Olivier Simmons. These riders are going to make this one heck of a climb.
It's going to be difficult behind, isn't it? Because we know that Simmons can climb. We know that Cam Winfield can climb. He can sprint. He's a mountain biker. You know, he's a real all-rounder when he's outdoors, when he's indoors. We know he also can excel on the big slopes, the big power climbs as well. They are at the front. Rowdy Ruben Dunn on his way up here. Well, listen, if I can call Tom the Pinball Pigcock, I can manage to have Ruben the Rowdy Dunt.
Well, whilst Matt continues to give the riders very interesting nicknames, Simmons, Camfield,
you're giving them a
I'm just rebranding their names. So Simmons, Winfield, Ospina, and Dont, the four riders at the front of this field at the moment. Quintero is there, Mayer is there, Andres is there. That Category 2 race field are really motoring well. Motoring on behind them is the Category 1 race field. Vujasin, Osborne, Vink, Kaminsky, Safrazad, Noren, Martins, Jones, Turek are all in here. It's starting to stretch. There's riders starting to be distanced off the back of the group. They are hanging in. Where is the push going to come? Is it going to just slip off the front? Are we going to see riders just drop off the back? How is this climb going to play out?
At the moment, you're seeing Vujasin, Vink, Osborne really setting the pace on the front here. Three very strong climbers, three very strong riders, three riders who know how to win, and they have put the rest of the group in trouble. We are seeing riders distance out the back here in ones, in twos, in threes, and this is going to make a selection. This is consistently tough now for a long, long way before these riders will get any kind of respite in terms of gradient. And it's going to be the top, I think, before they can breathe easily, because this is really hard.
Pim van Diemen is one of those riders who is distance off the back at the moment. So is Daniele Ratto. Those riders who'd been in the mix beforehand and now the front of the pack are working their way through the back of the Category 2 race field. In fact, there are a large number of Category 2 riders, just 30 seconds ahead. Very, very shortly, we are going to see a real mix on the road as the Category 1 pack catches most of the Category 2 race field.
And the riders they're catching, people like Mark Gates, Walter Clays, Filippo Quadrelli, Jacopo Bitco, are riders that I have marked down as being right up in the mix for the win. It shows you just how strong this Category 1 field is and how hard the racing has been, as it is in all of our categories. And if you want to jump on board, now's the time to do it. Jump on for the start of racing in 2024. Get yourself download the app. Watch for some big news coming. Watch for the news about the run into the Esports World Championship. That's going to be coming as well. Make sure you follow MyWhoosh on social media. It's MyWhoosh on Instagram, on Facebook, and don't forget it's my_whoosh on Twitter, or as it is now, X. Let's get back to the racing. Category 1 on the climb. They are still a select group who are almost side by side. Category 3, though, Ivo Scior on the climb here ahead of Kochev. And we've seen Ivo Scior push on before, haven't we, Emma?
Yeah, we have indeed. So pushing on really nicely today on this climb and tapping on those pedals. And look at the stretch on the group behind. You can see Category 3 riders not able to stay with him. So Sir, Kochkov, Davidson, Bogran, Hoyas, Cusimano, Gonsolin, who we saw leading the pack not long ago, and Diedrich. All these riders still in contention. There is just, 6 seconds separating the top 8 in this group.
And if this was further up the climb, 6 seconds would be decisive. If we were in the last kilometre, you could say potentially 6 seconds are decisive. We are still just over 5 kilometres from the summit in Category 3. That means there is still plenty of time for those 6 seconds to be basically zero. As we come up in Category 1, we've got even further, 37.6k covered so far. That means that we're on 7.3k to go at the moment as we make our way up. And Saeed Safrazad is the rider who is starting to stretch this out. 7 watts per kilo coming from Saeed Safrazad, a man who has had a great 2023. His results on the mountain bike and on the road outdoors have been brilliant. A really, really strong rider. He's just ahead of Osborne, of Fink, Noren, Vyasin, Kaminsky, Turek, and Martins at the moment. That gap is not huge because this pack do not want to let anybody go. They will not let anyone go.
Well, they don't want to let anybody go, but the motivation is really to continue to catch, because it's the Category 2 riders ahead of them that they are being drawn towards, and encouraging them to keep the power down as they continue to pick up other riders.
So it is Marcin Trojanowski who is up at the back of the Category 2 race. Category 1, it's Jason Osborne on the attack going through. He's used the opportunity. He knows that he's got to push it to a 13% gradient when he's gone as well. He's picked his moment. He's kicking hard now. Is this an attack for home? He's maintaining 6 watts per kilo, but look at the response behind. He went. They all followed, and they are all going to get him. I don't think anybody's going to lose ground here. It may well be Osborne who is mobbed and dropped on the way back. A good response from the Category 2 riders as they get caught here to try and stay with Category 1. But on these slopes, that is a monumental task with the quality of riders here. Osborne, Turek, Vyasin, Noren, Safrazad, Martins is in there, Kaminsky's in there. I'll tell you something. We have not talked about Martins much, and that is a key sign that he has been hiding out of the way, not on the front, not doing the work. Is he saving it for one killer blow at the end?
Well, he could well be. He wasn't with us last week. He was away. Did he spend that training, or did he spend that on holiday? Who knows? I think we're going to see today how well that week away from the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club has played out.
Well, I can tell you he did both.
Well, there you go.
There you go. I can tell you he did both because he's another of the riders who keeps in touch. Please, 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 like we said, get in touch with them and get in touch with myself. Give us a follow. We will follow you back. We love to know what our riders are up to. We want to know who we're going to be talking about going off the front line with Jasin at the moment. We say Safrazad kicking on. Martin's a little bit further down behind. Osborne's right up in the mix, and another big push coming here. Is it going to be Vink who's kicking clear? It is. It looks to me like Vink has got the head of the race at the moment. They come around the side of Wolfies, and tell you something. If you took the prize money home today, that would get you a nice bike in Wolfies, wouldn't it? Just down on the coast, down on the Hudad Island. Great spot, great bike shop, and great to see them jumping on. I know some of their stuff riding on the platform as well, riding on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, and great to have them with us. At the moment, though, we're focused on our race leaders, Vink, Turek in there. We've got Osborne in there. I tell you, Daniel Turek is on a cracking ride today, isn't he?
He is indeed. And Turek, Kaminsky and Vujasin, 3 riders from Coalition Alpha, you're still in the mix at the moment of this leading group as they continue to play it out. Osborne is there. Martins is there, both from the Belgian Waffles. Sweet Potatoes have got Noran and Safrazad. And then the UAE clan team have Michael Vink. This, for me, is absolutely Coalition Alpha Jaws to lose.
And they have been one of our really strong teams. It's great to see the Coalition squad racing on here. They're one of the real big hitters in esports. And I'll tell you something, they have shown that, and they have been working as a team. They are well drilled, and they're certainly putting the pressure on everyone else. But they have company, and Michael Vink, the man who you probably would predict as being the hot favourite in pretty much any race he enters at the moment. Sorry, mate, a lot of pressure, but there you go. That's the pressures that come with being the best. He is the rider at the moment who's right up there, putting the pressure on everyone else. Meanwhile, in the Category 2 race that the riders are coming past now, you can see that we have all the familiar names. Graves are trying to hang on to the wheels, as is Simeons. They're the riders right on the front, trying to hold that stream of yellow, but the Category 1 have come to the front. We have got, I think that's 6 riders left in contention in Category 1 at the front. Remember, there are 5 individual prizes, but every single position will count. So it's Osborne, Turek, Safrazad, Vink, Noran, and Kaminsky at the moment. They are your 6 riders at the front. At the moment, Kaminsky is the man in the danger zone. He's the one who is sat behind Category 2 rider. Phil Graves now goes around the outside as the pressure comes back on from Michael Vink. Vink again pushing here. This is not an attack. I repeat, this is not an attack. This is a test, and that is because he's holding the pressure. This is a 6 watts per kilo effort and not a blistering sprint up the climb.
Wow, it is really interesting to see them push. So Vink continuing to move. Osborne, Noran, Safrazad, Turek in there as well. Turek, that road rider from the Czech Republic, really strong. Part and parcel of the Israel Cycling Academy from 2017 to 2020. A great road Palmares, but part and parcel of an esports squad now and doing the business on this climb. So Osborne, Turek, Noran, Safrazad, Kaminsky all in here. Just a little bit further back, the chase is on behind. They're 400 metres further back down the road, and that's Arnie Jacobs and Jakob Bjorklund. So 2 riders absolutely giving it all because their points and their time counts in the team competition today.
So here we go on towards the upper slopes. We're approaching the 40k marker. But in fact, over we go. So less than 5,000 meters to our finish for our race leaders. And now Kaminsky's legs, well, I think they've fallen off. Please return to sender. He is on the lower slopes of the climb. 6 have become 5. 5 riders, 5 prizes. It's going to be all about holding those wheels, and Martins has got Vujasin for company actually behind. They're 12 seconds down, so looks to me like that is going to be a very interesting fight to the finish. They will want to get there because, remember, this is about having the right riders in the right position. And a quick reminder that They are strong riders. They are riders that we thought may well be finishing at the very front of the race. They are now distance further back down the slopes. So here we go. On to the climb, Vijay Martins. These are the distance riders. They're 12 seconds now, 20 seconds. That gap has really opened up on the slopes. Vijay is pacing him up here. I think at the moment it certainly looks like that. Vijay will want to be up there for the coalition squad.
Well,
Martins will want to be up there for the Belgian Waffle squad.
Yeah, but they've got Philip Graves with them at the moment in that category 2 race. He's trying to dig in and stay with them as long as possible. And it's really interesting, isn't it? Noren and Safrasad from the Sweet Potatoes are part and parcel of that 5-man break up top. Michael Vink is there for the UAE clan team. Osborne for the Belgian Waffles and Turek for Coalition Alphajaw. It is really, really interesting. All riders are fighting their way up the climb because the times count in this team competition. This is just not about individual glory. This is also about a team ride as well.
And at the front, that is going to make such a difference, isn't it, at the moment? So making the way up, you can see the leaders on the right-hand side of your screen. You've got Jason Osborne in there. You've got Michael Vink in there. Daniel Turek in there. Said Safrasad in there. Looks like Johan Noren has made the cut. Those are your 5. Vink, Osborne, Turek, Noren and Safrasad.
And in the Category 2 race, it's Phil Graves desperately fighting to stay in with these Category 1 riders. That's because he's leading the Category 1 race, but it's his teammate from the Hitmen, Olivier Simmons, currently in second place. So Graves and Simmons from the Hitmen in first and second in the Category 2 race. Ruben Dont is in third at the moment, but there are riders on his heels.
Going to be very interesting. What happens in terms of Category 2, in terms of Category 1? Quick reminder for you, 5 riders up in the lead, 2 from Sweet Potatoes. You've got Noren and Safrasad. You have 1 Belgian Waffle in the shape of Jason Osborne, 1 Coalition Alphajaw in the shape of Daniel Turek, and you've got 1 of the UAE clan team in the shape of Michael Vink. At the moment, Vink putting the pressure on, now over 7 watts per kilo on the left-hand side of your screen, trying to break this group apart. He knows that if the UAE clan team are to score big in the prize money, they are going to need to have as much time put into the rest of the groups by Michael Vink. But at the moment, he cannot shake Osborne. He can't shake Safrasad. Noren is not being distanced. Neither is the riders in there, Turek, and they are all holding the wheel of Michael Vink on this climb. This is not easy. They've got to stay with him. They want to keep that time down, particularly the riders on the Coalition Alphajaw team.
Well, while we're watching the fight in the Category 1 race, we did just flick to the Category 3 race, who are the leaders on the road in their world. Diduch, Davidson, Sir, Bogren and Gonsolin, the 5 riders also in the lead in that race. The gap, though, nowhere near as big. The gap back to Hoyas, Kochkov. Well, Hoyas is at 5 seconds. Kochkov is at 22. Roncalli is at 45. Will Hoyos make it back to the group, or is that 5-man breakaway absolutely going to be set? But it is indeed Sir and Davidson, the 2 riders pushing on. Yeah, the Sir from the Silver Snatchers, Bogren and Gonsolin are his teammates. So for me, it's looking like the Silver Snatchers are beating the Gold Grabbers. It's a little bit different. It was Italian Espresso who took the win last month. The Silver Snatchers are possibly going to do this today.
Well, it's looking good for them. Meanwhile, Category 1, we have got Vink, Osborne and Safrasad together. Turek is trying to hold the wheels. He has been distanced. He's now putting a monster kick to try and get back in. Noren, I think, is feeling the pressure the most, but he comes onto the back wheel now. 5 have become 3. They've become 5 back again. Vink and Osborne at the moment up near the front, but nobody is able to snap the elastic. We have 3 kilometers to go, 3,000 meters. We're on the steep climb. This takes us up to the hotel. We're doing a tight left here on the side of the mountain. And then we're going to get an easing of the gradient very shortly. And that is where we often see people push over the top and open the gap. If you can kick now, into that flatter section, you will open a gap. Vink knows this. He is starting to squeeze on 6.5 watts per kilo. The response comes from Osborne. He's the nearest rider. Then it's Turek in a third spot. And again, Noren and Safrazad now having to respond to this. They're going to have to push. Turek comes at pace. Turek comes up alongside. He comes alongside Vink and goes into the lead here. An instant response from Michael Vink up to 6.7 watts per kilo. He's on the front. So the white cap with the stripes, that is Michael Vink. You've got Osborne just going over the top at the moment with the white socks and the white helmet. With the white helmet and the red socks, that is Daniel Turek. He's in third spot. Fourth place at the moment is Safrazad, and fifth place, Johan Noren with his blue socks and blue shoes at the back, fighting like crazy. Come on, Johan, don't let it go.
He's not going to let that go. He is absolutely giving it his all to close that gap down and stay with that group. 5 riders still in the leading group. They could not shake Johan Noren. He has pushed and he has dug and he has stayed on that group as they continue to push, with Vink leading the charge at the front.
So here we go, Michael Vink on the front. He has got a fractional gap. Again, he's doing all of this work on the front. And whilst we're traveling at 20 to 30 kilometers an hour, you're going to see the draft taking its effect very quickly onto his wheels. Goes Jason Osborne. In fact, he goes straight over the top. Vink is aware of that, but look at the watts per kilo dropping down to 5 at the moment. The chasers having to do 6s to try and get on here, and this is going to be tying down 2 riders on the front, Vink and Osborne, both riders on World Tour teams. They have kicked, they've got the gap. Turek is responding again. They're on the left-hand side of the screen, so at the moment, we have got a race between the 5 riders. They are well cleared now of the rest of the group. All the rest of the riders nearly a minute back on the race leaders in Category 1. Left-hand side of your screen, right-hand side of your screen. And this is the Category 3 riders. They are currently within 900 metres. It's certainly our race leader is. That's Brett Davidson.
So Davidson is at 900 metres to go. Dijak, Sergon, Solin and Bogren, those 5 riders in the Category 3 race still all together as they tap their way to the top of this hill. 16 seconds back to Hoyas. Kochkov is within 30 seconds, but these 5 riders are what it is all about as they come to the latter stages of this climb. They do not have that much further to go. It's coming up for a 700-metre run to the line.
So on the right-hand side of your screen, they're going to be our first riders into the finish. You can see actually on the satellite navigation view on the right side that they are fast approaching the twists and turns. The polka dot banner will come in before the finish. You can see it coming into sight. That's going to be a 500-meter run from there to the finishing line. That's on the right-hand side of the screen. Left-hand side of the screen, lost a shot back, I think, for a little while. That is going to be Category 1.
Now, this is a technical finish on this course, and we've seen riders get it wrong, and we've seen riders come in a group, think they've got the win, and they haven't. So this is going to be really interesting to see.
Here we go, 300 metres now, nearly 200 metres to go. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Taylor Gonsolin leads it out early at 9.5 watts per kilo. Gonsolin has kicked early and he's kicked hard. The response behind is coming from Bogren. Bogren is trying to pull the pace up, but has he got his timing right? The gap is coming down as they come to the line. Gonsolin has the lead, but here comes Bogren. Here comes Dijak. Dijak is coming up on him. I think it's going to be Dijak or Bogren. Bogren, I think, gets that from Dijak. That is a photo finish. They were separated by 0.2 of a second. Albin Bogren, winner of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club Finals in Category 3. Now, back to Category 1. Jason Osborne is on the move. He is clear. He's kicked early. He has 900 metres to go.
He's got 900 metres to go. He's kicked early, and this is the chase behind. So Safrazad is cooking and kicking. Turek is absolutely motoring. Michael Vink is the rider. Caught out at the moment is Johan Noren, who is off the pace. So Osborne down the road. 3 riders chasing. Noren has not been able to stay. We saw him suffering not long ago, but Turek is pushing hard at 11 watts per kilo. He wants to make this juncture to Osborne.
So here we go, Turek, the rider, who is trying to get onto the heels. Jason Osborne leading this out. He goes underneath that polka dot banner first. He changes into the polka dot skin suit as he does so. He has got the lead. Turek is coming behind. 3 seconds now, 4 seconds. But watch that come down as Turek carries the pace through. Osborne has kicked. Jason Osborne, a previous winner many times on the Sunday Race Club. Can he make it? The final finish of 2023. Is he going to keep it? I think he is. It's going to be Jason Osborne, surely, who's going to take this away. And the polka dot skin suit of the fastest climber. He's going to add the win on the very last Sunday Race Club. Jason Osborne, your winner here in Category 1. Fastest man across the 45 kilometres. He's followed over the line by Daniel Churek in 2. Safrazad in 3. We've got Michael Fink on his way in 2 and through the line in 4th. It's going to be a 5th place today for Johan Noren. What a race finish. What a battle. And I think, pain for the efforts all the way up the climb. Jason Osborne's timing, absolutely immaculate.
Well, it was, wasn't it? Absolutely immaculate. As we switch back to Lionel Vujasin, been part and parcel of the push on the front of that Category 1 race for so much time today. He's taken 2 wins this month. Absolutely fantastic performances from him. A 2nd and a 5th. He's going to push on today, and he's going to be outside the top 5 for the first time this month, but he has done the work today. He can see the finish right up ahead of him as he moves on to the final corner where that finish line is coming.
So here we go, Lionel Vujasin on his way up to the finishing line. He's going to follow his teammate Daniel Churek to come through. He will make it the 2nd of the Coalition Alpha Jaw squad in and over the line, but it is 3 riders to count, and every second will count. It's by no means decided where that finish will go. Sweet Potatoes have 2, and it is now 2 for the Coalition squad. It's going to come down to what these riders do. Kaminsky is leading this through, but behind him is Martin Martins. Literally, this is going to come down to seconds of 4. Such big prize in the team. Martin Martins goes through. He carries it through to the line. Michael Kaminsky's legs went pop. He cruises over the line. He couldn't hold off the pace. As behind, I think our next finisher is going to be Phil Graves. Well, Phil Graves, he might be a triathlete, but he can get round the corners on this climb with the best of them. And he's on his way in to the finish here. Great riding by Phil Graves. He's got a big kick here. He wants to get the time in for his team in Category 2 as well as taking away top spot. The Hitmen are going to strike. The first person to hit is going to be Phil Graves. Olivier Simmons, his teammate, is currently behind him. Then I think it's going to be Krasnich, and he's going to be the first non-rider from the Hitmen to get towards the line for the Hubbard squad. But our next Category 1 rider going under the gantry is Jakob Bjorklund.
Wow, what a set of racing today. That team competition really livens things up, and the results are phenomenal. So to confirm our riders in the Category 1 race, Jason Osborne taking the win in 1 hour 18 and 3 seconds. Turek in 2, Safazadi in 3, Vink in 4, Noren in 5, Vujasin in 6, Martins in 7, Kaminsky in 8, and Bjorklund in 9th. It's Coalition Alpha Jaw taking the win in the team competition in Cat 1.
So we have the first of our team results in. Don't forget, you can pick up all of the results on the MyWhoosh website. It's mywhoosh.com/results. All the results at the moment are live. They will become unofficial and then verified with the world-class verification process. It's all part of racing on MyWhoosh. We would love to see you joining us in 2024. Join the amazing riders who've kept us entertained all the way through 2023. We've been here for every single one of those races this year. We're looking forward to starting to bring you 2024. My name's Matt Payne. It's been a pleasure to be in the studio with Emma Martin, putting words to the action, and it's all made possible by the amazing team behind the scenes who bring you the pictures, who bring you the images, who of course keep the game on the road. So from Emma and myself, for the final time in 2023, have a great party. Stay safe. We will see you again soon. Happy New Year.